Yes, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope we are doing in daily basics weekend day session and a teacher training level 2 and discuss our learning journey, important ideas, help us apply goals, executive and professional and the discussion allow and improve skill and expand knowledge and develop better understanding and different topics so continue and this journey today. We are going to discuss another interesting and informative topic today. So let's move towards our topic and being in the detail and with ChatGPT in this session as well explore valuable informative aspects of question and make conversation more engaging and unique insightful. We kindly request to stay with until end the session that after understanding and again maximum knowledge and the benefit from today's discussion. So let's go to the topic. With ChatGPT today, this topic week enforcement of law. So this topic related discussion with ChatGPT. So hello ChatGPT, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's everything going on your end?
Okay, so ChatGPT today this my topic week enforcement of law, and this topic is related before for discussion and explain.
Of course. So, weak enforcement of law basically refers to the failure of the legal system to apply rules consistently or effectively. This can happen due to lack of resources, corruption, political interference, or institutional weaknesses. It means that even if laws exist, they aren't upheld equally, which can lead to widespread injustice, corruption, and a loss of public trust in the system. So, it's a critical issue for both social stability and economic development.
Okay, so this topic related my first question out of week enforcement of the law and different performance of state institution.
Sure. So, weak enforcement of law really undermines the performance of state institutions because those institutions rely on predictable, fair application of rules to function effectively. When laws aren't enforced, agencies like the police, judiciary, and regulatory bodies can't deliver justice or maintain order. This erodes public trust, discourages investment, and weakens the overall effectiveness of governance.
What are the main causes of weak enforcement and law in Pakistan?
Yeah, so the main causes in Pakistan are pretty multifaceted. There's often political interference, which makes law enforcement inconsistent. Corruption's a big factor, both within institutions and sometimes from the public side. There's also a lack of resources. Police and courts often don't have enough staff or technology. And on top of that, sometimes there's a lack of public awareness or education about the importance of law and its enforcement. So it's really a mix of governance, resources, and societal factors.
Okay, so how does a weak legal system affect public trust and government?
Yeah, that's a big one. When the legal system is weak, people start to feel like justice is out of reach. So they lose faith that laws apply to everyone equally. If people don't trust the system, they're less likely to engage with it, pay taxes, or follow the rules. And that in turn weakens governance overall, because you need public trust for the government to effectively lead and serve society.
Okay, what does weak enforcement and law enforcement on corruption and very, very.
Exactly. When the law isn't enforced consistently, it creates a breeding ground for corruption because people in power realize they can exploit loopholes or avoid consequences. Similarly, bribery becomes more common when people know they can get away with it. And over time, this just entrenches inequality since those with money or power can circumvent the law, leaving ordinary citizens more vulnerable. Yeah, so when the police and judiciary perform poorly, it really erodes public confidence. Crime rates tend to rise because people don't feel protected and offenders aren't held accountable. This also slows down justice. Cases drag on, people lose faith in the system, and it creates a cycle where fewer crimes are reported or solved, making the entire legal system even less effective. Yeah, so when there are different standards for the powerful and ordinary people, it creates deep social resentment. The powerful can evade justice while ordinary citizens face harsher penalties. This fuels inequality, reduces trust in institutions, and can even cause civil unrest, as people feel the system is unfair and stacked against them. Yeah, right. So political interference really undermines law enforcement because it makes agencies dependent on politicians for support. When political actors influence decisions, law enforcement can become biased, targeting opponents or protecting allies. So it erodes impartiality. As a result, the rule of law breaks down and people lose faith that justice is blind or fair. Yeah, so when laws aren't enforced effectively, it creates a sense of impunity, especially among young people. They see others getting away with things, so they're more likely to take risks or engage in criminal behavior themselves. Without the perception that consequences will follow, they may feel like they have fewer stakes in abiding by the law. Yeah, so delays in court decisions really undermine the justice system. When cases drag on for months or years, people lose faith that justice will be served. Victims feel forgotten, and offenders sometimes exploit these delays to avoid accountability. Ultimately, just it erodes trust, discourages reporting of crimes, and weakens the rule of law overall. Yeah, that's really critical. When law enforcement is weak, crimes against women and children often go unpunished, so perpetrators feel emboldened. Victims hesitate to come forward because they don't trust the system to protect them or deliver justice. This creates a cycle where rights are violated and societal progress in gender equality and child protection is severely affected. Yeah, that's a really important link. When schools lack discipline, it often means students aren't taught the value of rules or personal accountability. That can translate into adulthood, where people might not respect laws or institutions because they never saw them enforced consistently. So, weak discipline in schools can foster a broader culture of lawlessness, making enforcement of the law even more challenging later on. Yeah, so a lot of the major reasons are things like lack of enforcement, meaning traffic rules aren't consistently monitored, poor infrastructure, like unclear signage or bad roads, and sometimes just a lack of public awareness or a disregard for rules. Also, in some areas, people rely on shortcuts or feel like they won't face real consequences. So, all of that drives violations. Yeah, absolutely. Media and social media can be really powerful. They can raise public awareness by sharing stories, highlighting injustices, and showcasing the importance of the rule of law. They can also pressure policymakers to take action, and by creating public dialogues, they help hold authorities accountable. So they really help spread the idea that everyone deserves fair treatment under the law. That's a great point. So media and social media can really amplify the demand for accountability. When people see issues exposed publicly, like corruption or misuse of power, they can pressure institutions to act. On the other hand, if accountability institutions are weak, they can't respond effectively, which lets violations persist. So basically, strong media coverage can push for reform, but without robust accountability institutions, that push may not be enough to produce real change. Yeah, exactly. When there's a lack of moral education, people don't develop a strong internal sense of right and wrong. So they might not see breaking the law as a big deal, especially if they feel others get away with it. This, in turn, normalizes rule breaking, making people more likely to act without fear of consequences. And that just reinforces a culture of lawlessness. Yeah, so police reforms can be really effective, especially when they focus on things like accountability, professional training, and community policing. When police feel empowered, fair, and well trained, they enforce laws more consistently. That builds public trust, makes the system more credible, and ultimately improves overall law enforcement and compliance. Yeah, definitely. AI and CCTV can really boost enforcement by providing real time surveillance, identifying suspicious activity, and even predicting crime patterns. With AI analyzing vast amounts of data, law enforcement can respond faster, allocate resources more effectively, and catch crimes earlier. So it really strengthens the entire system. Yeah, so when law enforcement is weak, people feel like they can get away with breaking tax laws or smuggling goods. Without consistent checks, penalties, or oversight, it becomes easier to evade taxes or move illegal goods. And that deprives the government of revenue, fuels organized crime, and creates a cycle where tax evasion and smuggling just keep growing. Yeah, absolutely. A strong and transparent legal system builds trust, ensures accountability, and provides a stable platform for economic growth. When people know the rules are enforced fairly, they invest more, businesses expand, and innovation thrives. Plus, it protects citizens' rights, reduces inequality, and creates a fair environment where progress is sustainable. Exactly. When law enforcement is weak, people feel they can exploit natural resources without consequence. So illegal logging, poaching, or pollution increases. This not only damages ecosystems and biodiversity, but also undermines long term sustainability and public health. So weak enforcement really allows these environmental crimes to flourish. Absolutely. Education institutes can play a huge role by integrating values based teaching, emphasizing why laws matter, how they protect everyone, and the responsibility each person has to uphold them. By fostering critical thinking, ethics, and respect for fairness, schools help shape a generation that values the law and understands its role in a just society. Ah, gotcha. If you're asking how it's controlled, it's really about a systemic approach. It involves integrating moral education into curricula, ensuring that teachers model ethical behavior, and creating safe environments where students can discuss laws and fairness. Plus, partnering with parents in the community helps reinforce these values outside the classroom as well. Ah, right. So the main reasons behind weak enforcement often include things like political interference, lack of resources like staffing or technology, corruption within institutions, and sometimes a lack of clear policies or accountability mechanisms. All of these factors combined make it hard to enforce laws consistently. Of course, I'd be happy to. Just let me know what specific angle you'd like to dive into, whether it's case studies from other countries, particular reforms, or how weak enforcement impacts certain sectors, and I can provide more details or examples.